I killed my mother with a single eye. Not the kind that unravels at a family dinner, but the kind that buries a girl alive in someone else's skin. It started in the biting cold of a buffalo winter. The kind that claws into your bones and whispers you're better off frozen. My name was Sophia Hale, 24, fresh out of community college with a nursing degree that felt like a noose around my neck. I was the good daughter, the one who mopped up Dad's bourbon spills and bandaged Mom's cigarette burns from her latest accident with the stove. But good daughters don't get disowned. They don't get told, "Don't come back," while snow buries the welcome mat. It was Christmas Eve, and the argument had escalated from whispers to screams faster than Dad could crack open his third bottle of Jack.
Mom.
Evelyn, with her peroxide blonde hair and eyes like chipped porcelain, had found the pills in my purse. Not mine, of course. They were hers, OxyContin swiped from the hospital where I worked the night shift. The ones she'd begged me to borrow because her back was killing her again. I'd said no 100 times. But that night, with the eviction notice burning a hole in my pocket and the heat shut off for non-payment, I caved. Just a few. Enough to trade for rent money on the street corner pharmacy black market. It was supposed to be our secret. A Hail Mary for the family teetering on the edge of homelessness. "You little thief," Mom shrieked, the bottle rattling in her fist like maracas from hell. Dad slumped in his lazy boy. Just grunted. His face a roadmap of regret and rage. "Sophia's always been the screw-up," he muttered, as if I'd single-handedly drained their savings on scratch-offs and bad boyfriends. Never mind that I'd been the one holding down 2 jobs since 16, wiring money home while they blew it on lotto dreams and Mom's spa days that smelled suspiciously like meth labs. I tried to explain, the pills weren't for me. It was for us. For the roof over their heads, but words turned to ash in my mouth. Mom's slap landed like a thunderclap, splitting my lip. Blood trickled warm down my chin, mixing with the salt of tears I refused to let fall. "You're done," Dad slurred, heaving himself up. "Pack your shit and get out. Don't come back." The door slammed behind me, the lock clicking like a guillotine. Snow swirled in furious eddies, coating my thin hoodie in white defeat. I stumbled down the cracked sidewalk of Elmwood Avenue, the city's sodium lamps casting long shadows that danced like mocking ghosts. My phone buzzed once, a text from my brother. "Tyler, heard the blowout. Tough luck, sis. Stay warm. Tough luck." That was Tyler's motto. The golden boy who'd skipped town at 18 for Yale on a scholarship he earned by actually studying, not scraping by. He was the one with the Wall Street internship now. The one Mom bragged about at bingo nights. Me? I was the collateral damage. The family scapegoat who'd taken the heat for every one of their fuck-ups. Like the time Dad's business partner torched our garage for insurance, Mom swore it was wiring. But I knew better. I'd covered for him. Lied to the cops about seeing a transient with a lighter. Or when Tyler got caught boosting cars in high school, I confessed to being the lookout, earning 6 months probation that derailed my own college apps. Secrets piled like snowdrifts, burying me deeper each time. By dawn, I'd crashed on a bench in Delaware Park, hypothermia nibbling at my fingers. That's when I met Dr. Harlan Voss. He was bundled in a Burberry coat, walking his retriever like some prep school professor out for a constitutional. Buffalo's elite don't slum it in parks at 5 a.m., but there he was, spotting me like a hawk eyeing roadkill. "You look like death warmed over," he said, voice smooth as aged scotch. I mumbled something about a fight with the folks. expecting pity or a dollar. Instead, he offered his card, Harlan Voss, MD. Neurotech Innovations. Neurotech. It sounded like snake oil, but desperation has a way of blurring lines. Over coffee at a Tim Hortons that reeked of burnt beans, he laid it out. Voss was running a trial off books. Hush-hush, for a neural mapping device. Think of it as a brain backup, he said, eyes gleaming behind wire rims. We scan your neural pathways, create a digital echo. In case of trauma, accident, boom. Consciousness transfer. Revolutionary stuff. Why me? Because I fit the profile. Young, healthy, no family ties to sue if it went tits up. The payout? 10 grand up front.
Plus expense.
Enough to get me a shitty apartment and a fresh start. I signed the waiver without reading it, my pen shaking like a leaf in the wind. What did I have to lose? The procedure was scheduled for New Year's Eve, in a nondescript warehouse on the edge of the industrial district. Voss's team, 2 techs in lab coats and a nurse who chain-smoked Marlboros, hooked me up to what looked like a dentist's chair crossed with a sci-fi prop. Electrodes on my scalp, for drip in my arm, a helmet that hummed like a swarm of angry bees. Relax, Sophia, Voss murmured, his breath minty and clinical. This is just the baseline scan. Your mind, preserved forever. The world dissolved into static, a vortex of colors and echoes. I heard whispers, Mom's voice calling me a whore, Dad's laugh from a forgotten barbecue, Tyler's smug "see ya" loser as he packed for college. Then nothing. Blackness. Absolute and suffocating. I woke up gasping, but not in my body. The air tasted wrong, metallic, laced with aftershave instead of the cheap strawberry shampoo I favored. My hands, his hands, were broad, calloused, gripping the arms of the chair. I bolted upright, staring down at a chest dusted with graying hair, khakis stretched over a paunch. What the fuck? My voice boomed out, deep and gravelly, like Dad after a bender. Voss chuckled from across the room, peeling off gloves. Welcome back, Mr. Hale. Mr. Hale? Panic clawed at my throat as I stumbled to the mirror. Staring back was Dad, Robert Hale, 52, with his receding hairline and perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. But the eyes, my eyes, were wide with horror. There's been a glitch, Voss said, not sounding sorry at all. The transfer overlapped. Your consciousness is in him, his is. Fragmented. Don't worry. We'll reverse it in 48 hours. Standard protocol. Fragmented. The word hung like a noose. Dad's body felt alien, heavy, arthritic knees popping as I paced. His memories flickered at the edges. The garage fire. Not an accident, but arson for a quick payout. The pills Mom hoarded. Not for pain, but to sell to Voss's colleagues in the pharma underground. Voss wasn't just a doctor. He was a kingpin in Buffalo's shadow economy, peddling experimental tech to the desperate and the damned. And Tyler? He wasn't at Yale. He was Voss's protege, the one who'd recruited me, feeding Voss my file like chum to a shark. Betrayal hit like a freight train. Tyler had sold me out for a cut of the trial profits, framing me as the perfect guinea pig, the disposable Hale. Mom and Dad, complicit, turning a blind eye for their slice. That disownment wasn't rage, it was theater, clearing the stage for my disappearance. I was the fall guy. Again. This time for a body snatch that could land them all in federal prison if it leaked. 48 hours. Voss locked me in a holding room with a cot and a Bible, promising reversal. But as night fell, snow tapping the barred window like impatient fingers, I rifled Dad's wallet. Tucked behind his license, a burner phone. Texts from Tyler. Subject acquired. Proceed to Phase 2. Phase 2. Whatever that was, it reeked of permanence. I smashed the mirror, shards raining like brittle promises, and plotted. If I couldn't go home as Sophia, I'd go back as the monster they made me. Dad's body had reached his old union buddies, his garage contacts, the .38 in his glove box. Revenge wasn't a word, it was oxygen. By morning, Voss's glitch became my weapon. I slipped the lock with a paperclip from Dad's forgotten crossword, the corridor echoing my heavy footfalls. The nurse yelped as I grabbed her keys, zip-tying her with extension cords from the supply closet. Voss was in his office, sipping espresso, when I burst in. Sophia, he blinked, then laughed. Robert. What the? I leveled the .38 at his knee. Call me the hail you fucked with. The shot echoed, cartilage exploding in a spray of red that painted his Armani slacks. No gore for show, just enough to make him sing. Tyler's address in Manhattan. The offshore accounts. The neural drive holding my real body in stasis. Voss babbled, like a faucet, sweat beading on his Botox brow. He was the puppet master. All right, powerful, untouchable, with senators in his pocket and FDA agents on payroll. But power crumbles when you pull the strings. I left him bleeding, the snow outside turning to slush under truck tires as I hot-wired his Escalade. First stop, home. Elmwood Avenue, where the lights were on and laughter spilled from the windows like nothing had happened. Mom answered the door, martini in hand. Rob, what the hell? It's early for. I shoved past, the gun cold against her temple. Where's Tyler's jet ticket? She froze, porcelain cracking. Dad lumbered in from the kitchen, fork midway to his mouth. Soph?
No.
That's not. Realization dawned, slow and sickly. The trial. Voss said it was safe. Safe for who? I roared, Dad's voice lending it gravel. Mom crumpled, spilling gin and tears. He needed the money, baby.
For us.
You were always so strong.
Strong.
The word twisted like a knife. I'd borne their sins, the arson rap sheet wiped clean on my juvenile record, the pill busts pinned on me during my shifts. Tyler's Yale tuition? Funded by Voss's dirty trials. My overtime checks siphoned like blood from a stone. I zip-tied them to the dining chairs, the same ones where we'd carved Thanksgiving turkeys and lies. Tell me everything, I demanded, pacing with the .38 like a preacher's Bible. It poured out, Voss's empire. Neural swaps for the elite, dying CEOs slipping into young hosts, politicians erasing scandals by becoming aides. Tyler was the architect, my little brother the serpent in the garden. And me, the test dummy, my mind mapped to perfect the tech. The dissonant was step 1. Isolate the subject, make her vanish without a trace. As sirens wailed in the distance, Voss's knee shot triggering his panic button, I torched the place. Not the house, but the evidence, Dad's ledger of payoffs, Mom's pill stash, Tyler's laptop with the transfer codes. Flames licked the curtains, smoke curling like accusatory fingers. "This is for every time you hung me out to dry," I whispered, holstering the gun. They begged, "Sophia,
Please.
we're family, but family is a word for suckers." I drove south, Dad's body aching but fueled by fury. Manhattan awaited. Tyler's penthouse, a glass tower overlooking the Hudson. The city that never sleeps pulsed with indifferent energy, horns blaring. Steam rising from grates like the breath of buried secrets. I ditched the Escalade in a tow-away zone, blending into the foot traffic as Robert Hale, Union everyman. Tyler's doorman waved me up. He'd greased him for family visits. The elevator hummed, depositing me on the 42nd floor. Tyler's door was ajar, jazz crooning from within. He lounged on a leather sectional, scotch in crystal, scrolling merger docs on his MacBook. "Dad? Shit. You look rough." "What's with the early bird?" I closed the door softly, the .38 whispering against my palm. "Miss me, little brother?" His eyes flicked up, confusion morphing to terror as the pieces slotted. "Soph? Holy fuck." The swap. Voss said it was temporary. He scrambled back, knocking over his drink. Ice clinked like chimes of doom. "Temporary like your conscience?" I advanced, Dad's work boots thudding on marble. "You sold me out for corner office. Mom and Dad's golden parachute. My life. Erased for your upgrade." He babbled excuses. "It was business." Soph. Voss's vision changes the world, but I saw the rot beneath. Tyler, the prodigy, who'd always resented my scraps. The body swaps weren't just for the rich, they were his ticket to godhood. Slipping into stronger vessels, outrunning his own mediocrity. Voss had promised him first dibs on a host. Me. Preserved in cryo. My youth his to steal. The shot to his shoulder was mercy compared to what he deserved. He slumped, blood blooming on his Brooks Brothers shirt.
Please.
We can fix this. The reversal code. Too late. I snatched his phone, forwarding the neural drive specs to an anonymous leak site. Let the feds unravel Voss's web. Tyler wheezed,
Clutching the wound.
You're a monster. Sophomore. No, I said, holstering the gun. I'm the mirror you broke. Snow in Manhattan is filth. Not poetry, gray slush sucking at your boots like the city itself. Greedy and unforgiving. I left Tyler zip-tied to his Eames chair, the penthouse reeking of copper and Glenfiddich. His phone buzzed incessantly. Voss's number. Then unknown callers. The Empire's threads pulling taut. I smashed it under my heel, shards glittering like fractured trust. Dad's body was a prison of aches, sciatica firing like warning shots down his leg, lungs tarred from decades of camels, but it carried me through the lobby, past the doorman who nodded obliviously. Rough night, mister.
Hale.
You have no idea. I vanished into the subway, the Q train rattling toward JFK like a coffin nail. The plan crystallized in the fluorescent flicker, exposed them all, but not from the shadows. No, I'd wield the swap like a scalpel, carving confessions from the untouchables. Voss's reversal window closed at midnight. After that, my mind fused permanently to Dad's neural net. Memories would bleed, his first kill in Nam, Mom's abortion hushed up in the 80s, Tyler's crib death, that wasn't quite. But fusion meant power, his connections, my rage. First, I needed wheels. Dad's old F-150 was parked at the airport long-term, keys magnet under the bumper. I hot-wired it anyway, Paranoia a second skin. The drive back to Buffalo was a blur of throughway slush and classic rock on AM radio, Springsteen wailing about ghosts in the heartland. Ironic as fuck. Voss's warehouse loomed on the outskirts. Floodlights cutting the dawn like accusatory beams. Security was laughable, a chain-link fence and a rent-a-cop dozing in his cruiser. I scaled it easy, Dad's union-honed muscles remembering the climb.
Inside.
The air hummed with servers. Cryopods glowing blue like sarcophagi from a bad sci-fi flick. My body, Sophia, floated in one. Tubes snaking from arms pale as milk. Monitors beeping her stasis. Seeing myself like that, suspended and stolen, ignited something primal. A tech in scrubs jumped as I burst into the control room. Mister.
Hale?
You're not scheduled, the .38 barked, grazing his thigh. He crumpled, babbling about protocols. The drive. Where's the master neural drive? He pointed to a safe. Combination trembling from his lips. April 20th, 69. Mom's birthday and Dad's draft number. Inside, a sleek black obelisk, humming with stolen souls. I yanked the cord, alarms shrieking as data streams flatlined. Pods flickered.
Você silit client senator.
CEOs, waking in the wrong skins across the country.
Chaos.
My gift to the world. Voss was waiting in the bay, bandaged knee propped on a gurney, flanked by two goons in tactical vests. Robert, or should I say Sophia, predictable. His smile was a scalpel, cold and precise. He was the architect of this nightmare, Harlan Voss, MD, PhD, from Johns Hopkins, darling of biotech VC firms. But beneath the ivy polish lurked a void, his wife dead from a botched early trial. His daughter OD'd on the very pills Mom peddled. Revenge?
No.
Voss called it evolution. We're transcending flesh, he preached, as his thugs advanced. You think you're the victim? You're the pioneer. The fight was ugly. Dad's body betraying me with every swing, fists low, breath ragged. I took a baton to the ribs, cracking cartilage, but felled one goon with a haymaker to the jaw. The second lunged. I sidestepped, driving the .38's butt into his temple. Voss fired wild.
Bullet pingink of a pot.
Stop. The reversal. It's your only shot. I pressed the barrel to his forehead, tasting bile. Tell me why. Why me? His eyes, magnified by lenses, held no remorse. Because you Hales are expendable. Tyler pitched you, resilient.
No roots.
And the glitch? Intentional. Test the permanence. Tyler. My brother, who'd whispered in Voss's ear since undergrad. Trading family for fortune. Voss's empire spanned coasts, swaps for Hollywood has-beens craving youth. Wall Street wolves dodging indictments. The crime I'd borne? Not just pills. But the trial's first casualty, a subject fried in transfer. Pinned on my negligent nursing shift. I'd confessed to tampering, earning a sealed record that killed my career dreams. You used me as your ghost, I growled, cocking the hammer. Voss laughed. Blood-flecked. Ghosts don't pull triggers. Join us, Sophia. Imagine it, your mind in a president's body. Rewriting the world. The temptation slithered, dark and sweet.
Power.
The kind that topples dynasties. But I saw Mom slap. Dad's grunt. Tyler's smirk.
No.
The shot was clean.
Through the eye.
Voss slumped. Genius extinguished. I dragged his corpse to a pod, sealing it with a jury-rigged overload. Let him wake as himself, trapped in eternity. Sirens converged as I fled, the F-150 fishtailing through backroads. My phone, Dad's flip model, rang unknown. I answered, Mom's voice cracking through static. Rob, the house, fire trucks everywhere. And Sophia's gone. They say she's missing from that clinic. Clinic. I feigned confusion. Dad's timbre masking the venom. What clinic? She spilled it all. Hysteria loosening her tongue. The wellness retreat Voss ran, where troubled kids vanished for treatment. Lured by Tyler's fake job offer. Drugged at intake. The disownment? Cover for my suicide. Insurance payout to fund their escape to Florida. Deep betrayal. Layered like onion skin. Family as facade. Love as leverage. I hung up, veering toward the Niagara Gorge. The reversal deadline ticked noon. Fusion loomed, Dad's sins seeping in. I remembered the garage fire not as arson, but necessity, insurance for Mom's cancer treatments they couldn't afford.
Wait.
Cancer? Flashes, her hiding chemo bills. Dad's partner a ghost. Lies within lies. Buffalo PD swarmed the warehouse by the time I hit the city limits. News choppers thwacked overhead. Talking heads dissecting neurotech horror. Bodies swapped in mad science plot. Voss's clients rioted. A senator in a janitor's husk. Raging on CNN. Tyler. Patched up in Bellevue. Lawyered to the hilt. But leaks from his phone painted him complicit. The feds circled. Indictments brewing. I ditched the truck at a mall lot, slipping into a Salvation Army thrift store. Dad's frame swam in hoodies, but anonymity clung like cheap cologne. A burner from a bodega, and I dialed Tyler's cell. Brother dearest. Soph, Voss is dead, cops say Dad did it. What the fuck is happening? Poetic. Ain't it? Your empire crumbling. I fed him details, the drive's destruction, the pod's sabotage. He begged alliance. We can spin this. Blame Voss solo. But I heard the scheme, pin it on Dad's breakdown, me as vanished collateral. No more games. I traced the line silent, then texted coordinates, the old family cabin by Lake Erie. Snowbound and forgotten. Meet me. Midnight. Or the full ledger drops. The wait was agony. Fusion gnawing. By dusk, Dad's memories dominated. His affair with Voss's wife. The hit that caused her crash, jealousy. Not accident. I'd borne that too. Confessing to tampering with brakes as a teen prank. Sin stacked. A tower of deceit. Tyler's headlights pierced the pines at 11:55. He emerged bundled in cashmere, flanked by 2 ex-cops, his security. Soph. This ends now. Gun drawn. He advanced. The shootout was brief. Chaotic, bullets splintering wood. My shoulder blooming hot. I dropped one guard. Winged the other. Tyler charged. Eyes feral. You were always jealous. The weak link. We grappled in the snow. His ivy fists against Dad's brawler paws. He pinned me, breath ragged. Voss promised me your body, youth. Perfection. The knife, Dad's hunting blade from my boot. I drove it home, between ribs. Twist for the secrets. Tyler gurgled, slumping into the drift. Family, he wheezed. Fuck family. I staggered back. Blood-soaking flannel. Fusion hit like a wave. Midnight tolled in my skull. Sophia and Robert blurring. I was both. Neither, hyphenate of hate. Dawn broke gray. Cops finding the cabin slaughter. Double homicide, headlines screamed.
Me?
Vanished ghost in a borrowed shell. But revenge simmers slow. Mom and dad, arrested for fraud, sang like canaries in plea deals. Voss's web unraveled. Trials making tabloid fodder. I watched from a dive bar in Cleveland, nursing a bud and dad's regrets. The mirror showed a stranger, me, us, plotting the next move. Power called, controversial and cold. Would I swap again? Become the monster? Or fade? Letting karma claim the rest? The snow fell thicker, burying tracks. Decisions loomed, dark as the gorge. Cleveland's winters are a joke, wind off the lake that bites harder than buffaloes. But at least the bars stay open till last call. I holed up in a flop on Euclid Avenue, the kind of place where roaches unionize and the walls whisper suicides. Dad's face in the fly-specked mirror was a grim comfort, crow's feet deepening, stubble silvering overnight. Fusion had settled like bad concrete. My thoughts tangled with his, Sophia's fury laced with Robert's quiet guilts. I remembered Mom's laugh. Genuine once. Before the pills hollowed her. And Tyler. Christ. His blood on my hands felt less like justice. More like amputation. Family severed. But the stump throbbed. The news cycle was a feeding frenzy. Body swap scandal rocks elite. Pundits on Fox and MSNBC debated ethics, playing God. Calm modifying souls. While Voss's victims sued. Their swapped husks aging rapidly without neural syncs. Tyler's obit ran small. Tragic heir found in upstate cabin. Father sought in shooting. Dad, me? Painted as the villain. A blue-collar brute snapped by midlife malaise.
Mom?
In orange jumpsuit on court TV. Wept for my Robbie. He wasn't himself. Irony. Thy name is Hale. But I was himself. And more. The .38 was ditched in a storm drain. Voss's obelisk shard tucked in my sock, a backup drive fragment, holding echoes of the elite sins. Senators' mistresses. CEOs' embezzlements. All digitized dirt.
Power.
Raw and radioactive. I could have leaked it wholesale, nuked the system. Instead, I cherry-picked. First target, Senator Leland Crow. Voss's political shield. Now trapped in a diabetic retiree's body. Rattling around D.C. like a loose marble. I drove the stolen Civic, nicked from the mall lot, south on I-90, the heartland unspooling in monotonous browns. Crow's district office in Pittsburgh was a brick fortress of constituent lies. Posing as Robert Hale, union rep from Buffalo, I bluffed past the receptionist with Dad's old IW card. Crow, 65 in a 75 shell, wheezed behind his desk. Jowls quivering. Hale, never heard of you. What brings a steelworker to my door? Justice. I locked the door. Obelisk humming in my pocket. His eyes widened as I synced it to his laptop, neural ghosts flooding the screen, emails greenlighting Voss's FDA fast tracks, payoffs from pharma lobbies. Remember Subject 7? The kid who fried because you rubber-stamped the trial. Crow's face purpled. Oxygen tank hissing. That was business. Progress demands sacrifice. Sacrifice like me? I leaned in, Dad's breath stale with coffee. Swapped and stranded, while you play immortal. The confrontation stretched taut, him blustering calls to security. Me countering with drive leaks to WikiLeaks proxies. He cracked at the threat of exposure, his daughter's affair with a lobbyist, His own swap queued for a starlet's body. "What do you want?" he rasped. Confession. I recorded it on my burner. Voss's web. Tyler's roll. The Hales as pawns. Crow signed off. Voice breaking. "You're a terrorist." Hale.
No.
"I'm the glitch." I left him sweating. The drive's data emailed to every major outlet. By nightfall, Crow's resignation hit the wires, health reasons, and Voss's scandal ballooned. Congressional hearings scheduled. Revenge tasted like ash,
Though.
each takedown hollowed me further. In a motel off the turnpike, fusion deepened. I dreamed of Dad's youth. Hitchhiking to Detroit for factory work. Mom as a diner girl with fire in her eyes. Their love. Before the grind ground it down. Had I misjudged? No. The betrayal was bone deep. But crack showed. Tyler's last words echoed, jealous.
Was I?
The good daughter. Eclipsed by the prodigy. Or just collateral in their survival game. Next, Elena Vasquez. Voss's venture capitalist. The money woman who'd bankrolled the swaps with Silicon Valley sleaze. She was in Austin now. Her consciousness in a yoga instructor's lithe frame. Teaching downward dog to tech bros. I flew coach. Dad's Amex swiped before the feds froze it, landing in Texas heat that made his joints scream. Vasquez's studio overlooked Lady Bird Lake, all zen facades hiding her panic. She'd aged out of her host, wrinkles creeping like accusations. I enrolled as Bob, dropping in on vinyas. She clocked me mid-warrior pose. Dad's form comically stiff. New to yoga? Her voice was silk over steel. Eyes scanning for threats. New to a lot.
Post-class.
I cornered her in the herbal tea nook.
Elena Vos Vasquez.
Or should I say, the widow who profited from her husband's ghosts. She stiffened, herbal steam curling like smoke signals. You're one of them. The rejects. No fear. Just calculation. The mark of a predator. Vasquez had buried deeper than Voss. Her funding masked money laundering for cartels. Swaps used to relocate sicarios into U.S.
Shells.
My fall? She greenlit my profile. Knowing the risks. Desperate types like you are cheap R&D, she shrugged. The .38 stayed holstered. This was psychological vivisection. I played the obelisk clip. Her boardroom laughs over fried subjects. Tyler toasting her as Auntie Elena. She countered with a taser from her matte bag. Volts dancing blue. I convulsed. Dad's heart stuttering. But rolled. Tackling her into a shelf of essential oils. Lavender shattered. Scent cloying as we grappled. Her host's nails raking my cheek. My bulk pinning her. Stop. I can reverse you full sync. Your body back. Lies. But tempting. Fusion had me craving Sophia's lightness. The nursing scrubs and midnight runs. Why fight? Join the board. Immortality. Darling. Darling. The words slithered. Echoing Mom's pet names turned barbs. You ate souls for stock options. I zip-tied her with yoga straps. Forcing a live confession to her phone's recorder. Cartel ties. Voss's kills. Uploaded to dark web forums. It snowballed. ICE raids on her donors. Her empire evaporating like morning mist. Fleeing Austin. I hit a dive cantina. Tequila burning trails through Dad's gullet. A local news blared. Swap scandal deepens. VC mogul implicated in human trafficking. Good. But the high faded fast. Controversial decisions piled. Was exposing Vasquez justice. Or vigilantism. Cops hunted Robert Hale. Sketches circulating me.
Us.
A ghost in the machine. Mom wrote, from lockup. A smuggled letter via a guard's pity. Sophia, if it's you, forgive. We did it for Tyler. For you, too. Voss promised your debt erased.
Debt.
The nursing loans I defaulted on.
Pills my Hail Mary.
Lies.
Still.
But doubt crept. A worm in the apple. The road called west. To Voss's crown jewel. Project Phoenix. A black site in Reno where originals were recycled. My body waited there. Perhaps. Or ashes. Nevada desert stretched endless. Mirages mocking. Reno's casinos glittered false promises. But the site was buried in the hills, camouflaged as a solar farm. Infiltration meant going loud. I boosted a guard uniform from a laundry truck. Badge reading T. Riley. The perimeter hummed with drones, but Dad's sleight of hand, pickpocketing from union heists, netted me a keycard. Inside, labyrinth of white corridors. Pods stacked like cordwood. Alarms hooped as I breached the core. Guards swarmed. Tasers crackling. I dropped 2.38 singing, but took a slug to the thigh, hot poker through meat. Limping to the vault. I found it, rows of hails. My body. Yes, Sophia. Serene in cryo. Monitors green. But beside it, Dad's original shell. Vacant. And Tyler's, scarred from the cabin. Horror twisted, Voss hadn't fragmented Dad, he'd archived him. Prepping a triple swap.
Us.
Interchangeable parts in their machine. A tech young, terrified, cowered by consoles. You're her. The Hale anomaly. Reverse it.
Now.
My voice. Dad's growl.
Brukt nos cheat.
He complied. Fingers flying. Neural storm hit. Lights strobing. Veins on fire. I screamed. Dualities ripping. Sophia's grace flooding back. Robert's weight ebbing. But midway. Abort, red lights. Lockdown. Sabotage protocol, the tech gasped. Voss's failsafe. One mind per shell. Choice loomed. Gun to his head. Him. Or me. Who activated? Tyler. Remote.
He's
alive. Alive? The knife had been shallow. His guards extracting him. Betrayal's Hydra head. I shot the console. Sparks flying. Pods venting steam. Chaos reigned, subjects waking disoriented. Guards firing blind. I dragged my body, light, familiar, to an evac vent, hauling it like a twin. Escape was a blur, desert sprint. Commandeered jeep. Blood trailing red ribbons. In a roadside motel, I initiated the swap solo, Aubel's shard jury-rigged to a Best Buy laptop. Agony. Exquisite. Minds shearing. Reforming. Dawn found me in Sophia's skin, staring at hands unscarred by time. Free? Almost. But Dad's echo lingered. A whisper. Finish it. Tyler waited in L.A. Voss's coastal air, a Malibu compound perched on cliffs. Waves crashing like applause for the damned. I flew red-eye. Scrubs swapped for jeans and leather. The .38 a cold comfort in my waistband. The compound was fortress chic. Gates. Patrols. Infinity pool overlooking apocalypse. I scaled the bluff at dusk. Salt wind whipping hair I'd missed. Inside. Party vibes, swapped elites toasting longevity. Bodies mismatched like thrift store puzzles. Tyler held court by the fire pit, bandaged but beaming. His host a suffer bros blonde, bronzed, bullet wound a badge. Sophia, he purred, spotting me through the crowd. The prodigal returns. Prodigal killer. You mean? Guests scattered as I drew. The .38 steady in my grip. Tyler circled, casual as a shark. You think you won? Voss was the front. I'm the future. These people? My board. Swaps for the worthy.
Worthy.
The word ignited. Like you? Stealing lives for likes. He lunged, disarming me with a Krav Maga twist, Voss's training. No doubt. We tumbled into the pool, water churning cold fury. Surfacing. He pinned me against tile. Admit it, you loved the power. Dad's body. The kills. It's in you now. Truth stung. The fusion had scarred. Dad's darkness a tattoo on my soul. Controversial. Had revenge made me the villain? Or liberated? I need his wound. Breaking free. Snatching a letter opener from a lounger. It plunged deep. Shoulder this time. He roared, slipping under. I held him down, bubbles rising like confessions. For every secret you buried, he surfaced gasping. Wait, the truth. Mom's cancer?
Fake.
To guilt you into the trial. But Dad. He loved you. Swapped willingly. To protect you from Voss. I lied about the glitch. Lies? Or twist. Water lapped. His eyes, our eyes, pleading. The Pacific crashed below the cliff, indifferent to the drama unfolding on its edge. Tyler clung to the pool ladder, blood feathering the water pink, his suffer host paling fast. Soft. Listen. Gasps punctuated his plea, waves underscoring the urgency. Dad wasn't fragmented. He volunteered the swap, knew Voss was coming for you. Tyler's plan. But Dad intercepted. Took your slot. Said it bought time.
Time.
The word hung, heavy as the salt air. Fusion's echoes stirred. Dad's resolve. Steely under bourbon haze. Flashes, him arguing with Voss in the garage. Take me, not the girl.
Me.
The mistake they'd shielded with sins. Not sacrificed. Betrayal inverted, love's brutal camouflage.
No.
I backed away. Letter opener dripping. You framed him as the brute. The arson. The pills, all to make me the patsy. Tyler hauled himself out, collapsing on tile. Guilty. But Voss. He twisted it. Dad's mind? In your old body. Hidden. Phase 2. Family reunion. Voss's sick joke. Reunion. Horror bloomed. If true, Dad roamed in my shell Sophia 2.0. Navigating my life like a thief in the night. The missing reports. The suicide cover, him. Fleeing to protect the charade. Tears pricked. Hot and unwelcome. Where? Obelisk core. Back up in the study. He pointed. Wheezing. Sirens wailed distant. Guests' panic calls. Time hemorrhaged. I bolted inside. Compound emptying like a sinking ship. The study. Oak-paneled. Voss's sanctum transplanted. Safe cracked with Tyler's birthday, cruel irony, yielding a secondary drive. Plugging it in. Code cascaded. Coordinates. A motel in Flagstaff.
H.
In SH. Robert in Sophia. The drive west was delirium, Jeep commandeered from the valet. thigh wound throbbing in rhythm with doubts. Tyler's confession nod. Villain or victim? My revenge. A house of cards collapsing. I'd shot Voss for puppetry. Exposed Crow and Vasquez for greed. But the architect? Family. Fractured and false. Flagstaff's pines whispered secrets. Snow dusting the Sangre de Cristos like forgotten grace. The motel was a neon relic. Vacancy sign flickering welcome. Room 13, door ajar. Light spilling gold. I entered soft. .38 drawn. There I was, Sophia, curled on the bed, flipping channels in a threadbare robe. But the eyes, Dad's, weary and wise. Kiddo. His voice. My timbre soft, lilting. Uncanny valley incarnate.
Dad.
The gun clattered, knees buckling. He rose, arms opening, my arms hesitant.
Yeah.
It's me. Embrace was awkward. Bodies mismatched, his bulk in my slight frame, my exhaustion in his. We sank to the mattress. Stories spilling like floodgates. The intercept. Dad at the warehouse pre-scan. Voss's needle laced with amnesiac. Thought it'd be quick swap. Buy you out. Woke up. Like this. Navigating my world, apartment lease in my name. Nursing shifts dodged with family emergency. The dissonant, his script. To sever ties. Make my death clean. But Tyler. Your brother's poison.
Soft.
Always was. Voss's boy since the scholarship scam. Dad's hand, my hand squeezed. I covered for him too long. The fire? His joyride insurance hustle. Pills? His connect. Sins refracted. Truth reversing like a funhouse mirror.
Ide rabanjantoms.
Gunned down enablers while the serpent slithered free. Mom, in it deep, but scared. Voss had hooks, debts, threats.
Pause.
Heavy. She loved you.
Kid.
We all did. Wrong ways.
Love.
Controversial currency. Paid in blood and blindness. Sirens closed in, Tyler's trail. My Jeep's plates hot. We switch back, I asked. Obelisk shard burning pocket. Dad shook his head, my curls flying.
Can't.
Voss's failsafe fried the links. We're stuck echoes. Stuck. The words settled. Not defeat, but détente. Dual souls. Hybrid hearts. Then what? Fight smart. Leak the rest. Testify anonymized. Tyler's empire? We burn it proper. We fled at dawn. Hitchhiking south, 2 hails in 1 skin. The other vacant. Tyler's compound raided. Him arrested mid-escape. Host body failing from rejection. Mom cut a deal. Spilling Voss's ledgers for reduced time. Headline shifted. Hail family saga. From victims to vigilantes?
Débattrage de forum à blason éthique.
Forgiveness. The monster in the mirror. Months blurred. Safe houses. Fed handlers in witness protection. Dad and me aced nursing finals. His grit fueling my dreams. I and him waited. A shadow self. Plotting. Therapy unpacked the rot. Betrayal's roots in poverty's soil. Power's allure in desperation's glare. Climax came in a DC. Hearing. Me testifying as Jane Doe. Obelisk evidence gutting the elite. Tyler, shackled across the room, met my gaze.
No remorse.
Just calculation. You won,
Sis.
but at what cost?
Cost.
Bodies broken. truths twisted, family forged in fire's forge. As gavel fell, indictments cascading, I slipped out, snow flurrying on cherry blossoms. Dad's voice in my head. Worth it? Debatable. Happy? In shards. Tragic? Only if you fear the merge. We drove into the heartland, radio crooning Dylan, the times they are a-changin'. Snow fell soft. Not burying, but blanketing. Don't come back, they'd said. But I had changed everything. And in that everything, a reckoning. Revenge, not endpoint, but evolution. Monster or mirror? You decide.